In this video, I'm going to show you how to use something called a combo chart in Google Sheets. So Google defines the combo chart as something where you can combine together both a line chart and a bar chart. I think this can be useful if you want to show some trends as lines with a backdrop of bars. So you can have two different types of data combined together into one chart. With this chart type, you can also do something called a dual axis, where you've got one vertical axis on the left, which is completely separate from the vertical axis on the right. So you can have these two independent numbers. You might have your lines, which follow the axis on the left, and your bars follow the axis on the right. So let's take a look at how this works. For this, I'm going to use some data on renewable energy sources. This is from the US EIA website. So they've got some really nice data sets, one of which is total energy consumption from both renewable and non-renewable energy sources. I've loaded that into a Google Sheet. Let's take a look. So this data trends over years starting at 1949 and it goes down to 2020. Lots of different columns here. So like I said, this is both renewables and non-renewables. So we can see some of the non-renewables here in B through D: coal, natural gas, and petroleum. Then we move into some of our renewables. We've got nuclear, hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, biomass. There's also some columns for totals of fossil fuels and totals of renewables, and then overall totals in column M. All right, so I want to make a combo chart, and what I'd like to do is really show as lines trending over time the various renewable energy sources. And then I want to put that on a backdrop of one of the fossil fuels. In this example, I'm going to use natural gas in column C. All right, so I need a few columns to get me going. I need my years to be my horizontal axis. So I'm going to click on column A. Like I said, I want my backdrop for this, my bars in the background, to be natural gas. So I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard and click on column C. And then I'm going to scroll here. I want all my renewables. So I'm going to continue holding Control and just kind of grab up all the ones I want. So I want F for nuclear, I want hydro, geothermal, solar, and wind, and biomass. All right, so I held Control while I clicked each of those columns. They've been added to my selection. So now I've got all the columns that I want involved with this chart. All right, so I'm going to insert the chart. I'm going to go to Insert and Chart. Okay, so definitely not what I'm looking for there. I'm going to move this to its own sheet so I can see it nice and large. Okay, I'm going to edit this chart and start making it look how I want. Like I said, we're working on the combo chart, so I'm going to go under chart types. This actually falls under the line category here. And it's the third option labeled combo chart here. So I'm going to select that. All right, so I can see right now all these blue bars are actually the year, and that's not what I want. So down here in my series, I can see that my year data is my first series. I don't want that. I want it to be my x-axis, that horizontal axis. So I'm going to remove years as a series, and then I'm going to go add it to my x-axis. So I can see now I've got my year labels down here on the x-axis. That's looking good. All right. So the way this combo chart works, the first series is the one that becomes bars in the background. That's by default how it works. So right now that's natural gas, and that's what I want. That's looking good. And then the subsequent series all are lines, so I can see that I've got those bars are natural gas, and then each of my renewables, nuclear, hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, and biomass, each are a line. So that's what I want, but you can see natural gas is just totally dominating, right? So a lot more energy production is from natural gas compared to the renewables. What I want to do is put natural gas on its own axis, so separate that out so it's on its own scale, and that'll give these renewable lines some room vertically to work. All right, so the way you set up that second axis, that dual axis part of this chart, let's go look for that. So I'm going to go under Customize. Let's see, I want to maybe modify the vertical axis. I think that's not quite right. Let me look under Series. So under Series here, I can customize each of the series that are part of this. Let's look at natural gas. All right, so I can see that's set up to be visualized as columns. It's got color options. I can see the axis, okay? So here's where I can map it to a right-hand axis. All right, that's looking more like what I was hoping for. So this right-hand axis now ranges from 0 to 40. And this data is in quadrillion BTUs. And then over on the left hand, I've got a different range from 0 to 10 quadrillion BTUs for my renewables. All those lines follow the left axis, and now my bars follow the right axis. This is a good way to compare trends without them being on the same axis. All right, that's looking pretty good. The last major change I want to do is this blue is very dominant. I really want to focus on the lines, so I want to make a much more subdued color for the bars. So I'm going to change the fill color on those bars to a light gray. So it's really just a subtle backdrop of here's the trends with natural gas, but I really want to highlight the lines, what's going on with those renewables. So I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe to polish off my chart, I'm going to go, let's see, maybe give it a better chart title. Let's see, that's style. Here we go. Titles, my chart title. So I'm going to say renewables compared to natural gas energy consumption. All right, so got a nice title there. We'll call this our combo chart sheet to finish it off. All right, so that's how you make a combo chart in Google Sheets.